Hello, everybody. What we're doing today is a basic four-wheeler seat. Wes has already done pulled the cover off. There it is right there. He's trying to get this number 10 bolt out. You need some oil on it, Weston? Sometimes that bolt will rust on the back side. Makes it a little bit temperamental about getting out. Just got to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with it. Maybe a little WD-40 might help it, but I told him, I said, you keep working, it'll come out. See, so that's pretty simple. This right here, you don't see that a whole lot. That holds your little toolkit in place. But if you look, the plastic still looks pretty good, especially at the front right there. All that still looks good. All right. One thing I usually do, you don't have to, is I usually steam it. I'm gonna put y'all on the stand. Here's another thing. Ooh, my finger was in place. So somebody had no covered it before. It had the original cover, if it's got Honda wrote on it. Yeah. So that was the original cover. It's got the warning label on it. Most of the time it'll have Honda wrote on it. And then they had this one on top of it. And you see it's got Honda wrote on it right there. So that one was on top. They must have went to the Honda shop and got it. I usually take a, do I have any of those, Wesley?
Stencil's not.
Yeah, we usually take a stencil. If you put the plastic stencil on there, it won't hold up. But if you get a reverse stencil, that means take the stencil of the plastic.
That ain't close to it.
Yeah, I know. If you take the stencil of the plastic, I mean the part that you're gonna stick on there, and you throw that away. So you just got an outline of what you're doing. And then you take some white dye and you dye it on there the way they done it from the factory, then you're good. So that's a hole. This right here, that foam right there is nothing compared to what, that's some hard foam right there. So we're gonna come right here.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna take and pull this right here out. It looks like it goes in there pretty deep. Oh God! I didn't have my steamer on. All right, so I'm gonna take and cut this right here. This is just the turkey carver knife. I know there's been some trimmers on there that look at me do this and say, what are you doing? I mean, like, why don't you use a knife or a hacksaw blade? You know, and everybody's got their own style of what they do. So I cut it out like this, just smooth it up to where I can put a piece of foam in there. And I'll take me a piece of foam and I'm gonna cut it in the same shape as this right here. You might can do it with something else. That right there is pretty close to being to the bottom. This foam's kind of hard, so it's not going to slice right through it real fast, so I got to take my time. All right, come around here to this side. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. There you go. Just like that. So I just cut that section out that ain't no good. I didn't want to go through, so I kind of stopped it right in there. But I got some where's that black pad at, Wes?
There's some pieces right there, but I had to get you something to do this one with.
Yeah.
If we don't have no more in here.
This right here, this is a real high density pad right here.
But you cut it out of this. Or we'll have to go to the shop over and get some.
I might can glue it. So the first thing you want to do is measure the thickness. Well, that right there's plenty thick. All right, grab that. All right, this piece right here. That looks like that's a good bit thicker. Not a whole lot, but some. So I'm gonna take this piece. I'm gonna glue it together.
If you don't need it that thick, I got some smaller pieces.
I need it probably about that thick. I could cut it down. All right, Wesley. All right, we'll let that dry. That's just some contact cement. So once it dries, I'll just stick it together. This part right here, I'm gonna stick it up here, trace this right here out. All right, there we go. I believe I could cut it with my saw if it's a little bit. But I can cut it like this, see, because this right here tapers off. It gets a little bit smaller, so I can cut it with this right here pretty easy. Okay, and I tried to cut it the same way as this, just like that. You know, it's kind of tapered. So that way, when I glue this in, it'll fit in here just like this. And I won't have much trouble grinding it or shaping it up to the foam. This doggone Wesley, that ain't even long enough. What was I thinking? All right, so I'm gonna add just a little bit to it. It ain't that big of a deal.
I wish we had one of them square ones that we got out there in another building.
Yeah. Now y'all to do a video around here, we can't just cut everything off. So Wesley's catching the cars. All right, so here we go. That's flush. I'm just gonna stick this on here. It's gonna make it where I can cut it out. All right, so to do this one, I'm gonna come up here and I want to make sure I get it real close, so I'm just gonna cut it off where I got kind of a flat section to it. All right, so I just traced it, and I'm gonna cut that right there out. After I glue this piece on. If I had a good saw that was about that tall, I could just cut around that pretty easy, but now I got to come in here and do it like this. I went through a lot of these knives, y'all. Ooh, a lot. Over the years. Hey, and the good thing is when people know that you use stuff like this, if they're somewhere and they see one, they'll pick it up for you. That's a good thing. And another thing, you see them teeth on this, how they look right here, they're kind of sharp, they're deep, and they're real aggressive. All of them ain't like that. Some of them are kind of smooth. The smooth kind, they don't work good. I found me a big foam cutter, worked. I mean, and I missed out on it. They done sold it. And it wasn't like what, $1,200. There you go.
The stand does not.
The stand don't want to work right.
I got it tight now. Maybe it won't slide down.
That glue was catching in there because it wasn't completely dry. But we're gonna push it down and make it smooth. I should have cut it in two pieces and went over there to the bandsaw. Made it nice and neat. And glued it back together. Alright, if you look at it right here, it don't look like it, but it's busted. It's cracked. See it? A lot of times they get cracks in them like that. And if you take it off, then you can kind of get it out. Just let that dry for just a minute. We're going to put this piece right here in. All right, just like that. And that right there, that glue, need something to get that off with Wesley.
You have to use them paper towels beside you. The blue ones.
It's easy to clean that glue up with some brake cleaner. It will wipe the glue right off, so we use it out here on a regular basis. It's easy to cut a little bit off where you can see where you're going than it is to try to do it all at one time. And just trim it off as you go, lightly. Just a little bit at a time. Like cutting hair. Ain't with it. Alright, so we'll throw all this scrap away. I'll take my Bondo Buster, smooth it up just a little bit. take this right here and I'm gonna spray some glue down in that little crack. All right, so there we go. Let's see, we got a piece we can put over it.
We don't have to cut off the roll.
Yeah. Hey, that piece might work.
I thought you were going to hit on it.
Yeah. Here we go. So we're gonna take this. I'm gonna steam that little bit of a impression out of there. All right. If you look right here, that right there is indented a little bit. I don't think that this is gonna get it out. It might lift it up a very, very, very little bit. Probably not. These four-wheeler seats sit outside, get wet and dry, get wet and dry, and they just the foam. This is mild. This is like in really good shape. This pink foam right here is a good density. It's a high density. It's probably one of the better foams.
Your glue.
My glue gun was about to fall. This part right here, we need to roll that foam over this part up here at the front, because right in here is a if it's gonna tear, that's probably where it's gonna be. Normally, sometimes I would take and sew a piece around here. They come that way, 2 pieces sometimes. But I got a roll of this what's that stuff called?
Four-way stretch.
Yeah, it's a 4-way stretch. They call it something. I mean, it's got a specific name for it. All sport, sometimes they call it that. I think it, well, I didn't know my hose was going through the legs of the camera. Okay, there we go. We get a lot of telemarketer calls, y'all. That's just the way. That's just the way it is. And got me some we always use stainless steel staples to put this on with. So it takes just a minute for it to dry. That is basically kind of like what they use from the factory. It ain't good to have glue on your fingers, so we do try to keep our hands clean out here. once you stick this on, and then if you got to turn it and go over the edge to make it smooth down on the underside, then you can do that. All right, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna pull it tight. Just curve it around the edges. All right, if you notice, you see right here how it's pulling it, where I pulled it tight, it's pulling it around from the edges. So you have to take and glue it. The cover would hold it, but I mean, I always take and put a little bit of glue in it. Might as well get it enough with it. While your glue's drying, you can always take and throw your little pieces like that away. Clean up just a little bit. Whoever done this, they could have done it from the factory, but whoever done this, at one point, they used a staple, if you can tell right there.
It's very wide.
What is? Oh, there it is. There's the staple, and you see that was either galvanized or something, so it's rusted off, and they will rust up. So I think it's stuck long enough to stick. I mean, waited long enough to stick. Okay. Remember I said I wanted that to roll over just a little bit on that front side? That's exactly what I want to do. I want that piece right there to roll over, just like that. All right, then I'll take these pieces right here. So there you go. That's what it's supposed to look like when it's all finished. As far as that goes, I'm gonna take some of that All Sport or whatever the dealer had a name for it. And what we'll do is we'll take this piece. This is a 4-way stretch right here. It covers real easy. It'll stretch this way and it'll stretch that way. So It's pretty easy to put it on. All you gotta do is heat it up just a little bit. Sometimes you don't even have to heat it. It's hot. I usually heat it around the edges right in here where it's gathered up. You see how much it's gathered? What did Wesley do with my staple gun? Right here. All right, that's a long staple. We don't need that. That's a little 1/4 inch staple, stainless steel. Oops. I always start right in the middle. Just staple you a few staples in there like that. You got it even. See, I got about 1 inch over here and about 1 inch over here. So all I'm gonna do is pull it down on this side. Pop me a few right in here. Just like that. Come over here to this side. Pop me a few in here. Boom, boom, boom. Just like that. Pull it back. You see we still got that section that I was talking about, how much excess you got. So we'll get that out. If you are at home, you might want to get your hair dryer out. It'll work. My hair dryer back there, Wes. And you see that it's really smooth. If all I needed was the stencil, and we could put the wording back on it. This is pretty important to be able to pull it tight enough to get it. You don't want to hold it in one place too long, it will burn it.
Or melt it. Melt it.
Yeah, it can melt it. But just get it warm that you can touch it like that. like a hot summer day. Take it like this. And you pull it just like that. Come in here. Pop, pop, pop. Put you about 3 or 4 in there. Now I got some slack right in here I got to pull out. I'm doing this like I ain't even on the clock, which I could go fast. I do want to explain as I go though. You just work that wrinkle out. Had to pull them right there out. But it ain't no problem. I can put some more right back in. Heat this side right here up. You see how smooth that is going around the edge? Can you see that way on the camera? See how smooth? Nice. If you take, and I don't think nobody would ever say nothing, but who knows nowadays. If you're gonna put the Honda logo back on the back of it, you've got to change the logo 10% so you won't be infringing on copyright. Ain't that something? Which I'm not 100% sure if I would turn you in, but who knows? Just thought I'd put that out there. I did some seats for an Atlanta Falcons football player, and he wanted the logo Falcon. I did say Atlanta Falcons, didn't I? Yeah. He wanted the logo on his seat, so we had to change it. It was hard to look at it and tell that it was ever changed, but it was changed so it would not infringe copyright laws. And whenever we're done with this right here, whenever we're done with this, we'll take a razor blade, cut any excess. These stainless steel staples will look just as good years down the line whenever this is all tore up like it was when we got it. You want it tight. That's one reason why I'm heating it up a little bit. You do want it tight. You don't want it loose. So whenever somebody's sitting on it, it's still tight. All right, you see I got to do this side right here the same way. You got to hold tension on it the whole time. All right, we need to take some of this excess right here off to be able to go around the edge. We're still gonna go back and trim it. When you pull this to the other side, you can come back like this. Come back and pull it, then you go back over it. But the thing is whenever you start going back over it and you're using a short staple, you need to use a little bit longer staple so it'll go through that excess material. Ain't that right, Wiz?
You use a quarter?
I was using quarter.
That's
I need a 5/16.
I have 3/8.
Oh, 3/8. You all right?
Yeah. Something there to Quentin over.
Yeah. When you're shooting a little bit longer staple, what you can do is angle. When you're shooting a longer staple, what you do is you take that staple, instead of shooting it straight in like this, you turn your staple gun like this. Shoot that staple at an angle. That way, you ain't got to worry about going through, sticking somebody. Just like that. Man, I need a better pair than that.
I got one of them razor knives right there if you want
Where's that?
it. Right here. There's two of them. One's new and one's.
Yeah, them things last long time, about 10 minutes though.
You get about one use out of it.
Yeah. People in China sitting over there just laughing. So if you're in China and you're watching this, hey, I laugh too. All right, so it's done. All I got to do is come around here. And just trim it all the way around the edge. You don't want to trim too close to your staple, but I mean, leave a 1/4 inch. All right, and right up here in the front, leave yourself about a 1/4 inch. There you go. You saved yourself $150, $145, something like that, to do that right there. And you can do it at home in the same amount of time I just done it. Just take your time, get you some of this. Didn't we have the name of it over there, Winston?
I think you said it right, all sport or something.
Yeah. Okay. Let me look it up.
Should have been on the top with
Was it?
O'Neill stuff. We just did it a while ago.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. There you go. Hey, I'm looking, y'all. I'm looking.
Our filing system ain't the best,
It ain't bad. We were just going through it. Just a
but it
minute
should have been
ago.
on top with O'Neill's because we just looked at that and his other stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Unless it's off on the floor or something over there. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's called All Sport, what it is. But it anyway, if you call some upholstery supplier, you can ask them and just say 4-way stretch, and they'll know what you're talking about. We use this right here to cover door panels. We use it to cover all the things that really needs to be stretchy. And this right here was one of them. See, we didn't have to sew none of this stuff right here on. We just folded over and wrapped around it, fixed the foam, and it's good. So thanks everybody. Give a thumbs up, a like, share. If you know somebody needs this type of work, we do a video. We're gonna try to do one a couple of times a week, maybe. So thanks everybody. See you next time.